That's a very good question, and I'm afraid the answer is not terribly encouraging yet. If you look at the spreads on the 10-year government bond, the GGB, today it's not much better than what it was when Greece lost access to markets in April 2010. So a lot has been accomplished. It is a milestone today, but the crisis is far from over, and it's going to be a tough time ahead.
What do you think the catalyst for that next crisis is going to be? And also, do you think that both the Greeks and Europeans have learned sufficiently from the last 8 years or so on handling the Greek debt crisis?
Well, I think a catalyst for a possible crisis is if you see this government or any after that sort of go back on its commitments. That would send the absolutely wrong signal to international markets. What we would need is this government or the government that will take over after the next elections to continue the reforms and to basically make sure that Greece starts growing again at a healthy pace, because what is really worrying is that the medium and long-term growth for Greece is not foreseen to be higher than 1–1.5%. That's really very low. So in terms of what we have all learned, this is a time for introspection for all of us, both in Greece for the mistakes that were made, especially before the crisis, but also during the crisis in handling it, and also with our European partners who were far too late to react to what was going on, took some of the wrong decisions in the beginning and during the crisis, made an existing problem worse, and, for example, took too long to decide on debt relief, which was necessary for the country.
I actually was going to ask you about that point specifically, and we know now, obviously, in retrospect, looking back, that the ECB did drag their feet in terms of accepting that debt restructuring. Famously, Trichet accepted it to happen only a month or so before the end of his term. Do you think things would have turned out differently if the restructuring event had happened sooner?
I think that things would have been a bit better if the restructuring had been sooner. I think it is naive to think that it would have been possible to have that restructuring together with the first bailout in May 2010. Anyone who says that simply does not understand the politics and the economics of the situation. The Eurozone countries were not even willing to lend to Greece, let alone give it a big debt relief at that point. So, time had to pass. Greece had to show that it is doing the fiscal retrenchment, which it had to do. Unfortunately, the time that actually passed was too long. It could have happened earlier. Some of the blame rests with the ECB and some rests with the other Eurozone countries that took too long to understand that without debt relief it would have been extremely difficult for Greece to get out of the rut that it found itself in.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.